Hello, beautiful souls. I'm so glad that you are joining me today. I'm Soul Coach Michele. Welcome to my channel, Soul Coach Studio. And today I want to talk to you about my journey to embracing my, conscious channeling abilities. They've been with me my whole life, and I've kind of ignored them until recently. Well, not really. I've kind of ignored the fact that I do them, and then I guess ignored the fact is not the right word. I guess the right word is I was afraid. And that's why this is a big deal for me to share this. That's why I'm putting this in the start here for two reasons. One, I want to explain what conscious channeling is because I think it's something that we don't talk about a lot. In the woo-woo world, we talk about channeling and we have this vision of what that looks like. And this is not that. And for me, I learned one of the reasons I learned how to read tarot and all that kind of stuff was because I didn't think people would believe me that I do this. So, that was a I'm not good enough thing. And I want to do this video for everybody out there that doesn't think they're good enough in the intuitive world, that you are good enough and you're amazing and you need to be sharing your light with the world, because that's kind of like our role right now. So this video is going to be all about what is conscious channeling and my journey, I guess, to embrace my gifts that's been with me my whole life. So I'm coming even further out of the woo-woo closet, if you could even believe that's possible, but we're going to do it, and we're going to do it today. So let's start. Okay, so if you're new around here, again, I'm Soul Coach Michele. Welcome to my channel, a channel where we talk about soul alignment, life purpose, soul purpose, aligning the two of them so you can create the life you want. I started out this journey teaching manifesting, the law of attraction, because it's super trendy. But there's 11 other laws that work together to help us, spiritual laws that help us navigate our spiritual journey, and lots of other tools too. But this channel is to help us just kind of navigate that journey even more with ease and grace and flow. So all that said, let's talk about today conscious channeling. It's a term that probably you're not familiar with as much as regular channeling. I'm sure when I say channeling, you think to yourself, maybe if you're familiar with it, you think to yourself, Seth, Sheila Gillette channels the Seth consciousness. Esther Hicks channels the Abraham consciousness for the law and speaks to law of attraction. That's their thing. I forget the guy's name, but he channels Bashir. Lee Harris channels the Z's. There's channels all over the place doing, and they all kind of have the same general practice. And it's usually they're known for allowing spirit to speak through them while they are in a trance-like state or trance-like state. And because there's trans mediums, and that's a whole other thing. But this is more like, they send themselves into a trance. Like you'll see them kind of say, okay, I'm going to get, I think Esther says it all the time, I'm going to go get Abraham. And what she's basically doing is she's allowing herself, she closes her eyes, and she allows her vibration to shift. So her consciousness steps aside. Esther's consciousness steps aside so that Abraham's consciousness has a space to flow in and speak through her. And that's generally what traditional, the traditional thought of channeling is for a lot of people, that's kind of how it works. And conscious channeling is different. So, conscious channeling is more about staying engaged, saying, present and conscious, while also tapping into that source. And for me, other people they have names for their entities, and I actually have had those interactions, which are interesting too. But I like to say that the conscious channeling that I share is a direct link from source energy that comes in and speaks while I am still conscious of that going on. it's kind of like having this interesting heartfelt conversation where it's like me, source, the other person. That's why when you see my, like, especially over the last couple of years, I've said like readings with me are like you plus me plus spirit equals great clarity. Because that's really what's going on. It has nothing to do with the cards. I mean, I hate to tell you that. It really does. For me, it doesn't. Like, I use them because I literally had to teach myself to use them, but I'll talk about that in a minute, because my journey to this point has been, I was afraid of coming out of the woo-woo closet about that. I mean, I'm already like, people know me and they're like, really, what? But I think because so many people are fixated on tangible 3D things like the cards, like pendulum, like whatever tools we use, but divination tools. But the fact is that I honestly, my entire life, I never needed them. Never. I only learned to read tarot in probably 2015. Where, the reason I like oracle cards is because the flow of messaging, it gives more latitude. Because, like, if you pull a 10 of Pentacles in any of the kinds of decks, they all relatively mean the same thing. It doesn't matter what the art on the deck is. It's the same card means the same thing across all the decks. But with oracle cards, it's almost like you can, there's general meanings for the various things that are on the oracle card, and thusly it gives a lot more latitude for spirit to speak. So that's kind of why I did it, because it was a crutch for me to kind of feel like, I used to teach voice, and I had this one student, and I love her, and she's an amazing, amazing songwriter and amazing singer. And it was funny because she would always play her guitar because she would write and play, and it was like that was her whoopee. And so one time I was like, let's work on your microphone skills, and she was like, oh, but I can't take my guitar off. And I was like, what? She's like, it's my whoopee, I can't take it off or else I get upset, I get nervous. So like she had to practice her stuff while wearing the guitar. So it was kind of like that for me. When I think about it, is like, my cards, I love them. I'm not saying I don't love them. I do love them, and I'll probably still continue to use them for various things, but in general, I don't need them. I've never really needed them. But because other people seem to attribute messages to them instead of to the source energy that I was channeling, I took classes and taught myself how to do cards. And then it took me a really interestingly long time to integrate the use of the cards and the channeling, because I wasn't used to it, which is interesting. And now it's like, it's really easy, but I can do both. I can do it with or without. But yeah, it's been one of those interesting lifelong journey kind of callings that I've really kept hidden for a very long time, because again, I was afraid of what people would think. I wasn't good enough. I couldn't, like you have Abraham and Seth and everybody run around doing channel work, like and people are totally cool with that. And for some reason, I thought people wouldn't be totally cool with me doing it. Even though I do it all the time, and people just don't realize it. Cause I'll even be talking, and Darren kind of can tell when there's that shift back and forth. And I don't do one of these things where I'm like, let me go get source and, sit here for a minute and then come back and my stuff is gone and that person's there. It's much more an integrated like volley of energy where I'm fully present, and I can tell you that I may not be able to tell you verbatim what I said, but like, hell, I can't do that anyway. Thank God we're recording this. But it's more of I'm conscious of the concepts. I'm conscious of the explanations of the concepts. I'm there. And if source gets a little too direct, I feel like I'm still conscious enough to kind of chime in with an understanding of the concept to lighten, but still make sure the message is received. So we might be tossing humor in there so that there's not this like bam and it's very intense. But, it's almost like one of my clients, actually a few of my clients have said that working with me is like having, your butt kicked, but in a loving way to get your soul work done. And that's kind of what is the result of that channeling, that conscious channeling, is because I'm there in partnership with source from a personality perspective with the wisdom of source to share that with you when questions are asked. But yeah, I used to hide behind divination tools all the time because I was afraid. And I wanted to really kind of be honest about that, because I feel like there's a lot of folks out there that, maybe aren't, they have intuitive gifts. They know they have them. They practice them in secret for whatever reason. And that's okay. You are where you are, but know that it's okay to come and step into the light. And that's why I'm being very transparent about this evolution, about, me just saying, this is what I'm going to do. This video, probably, I kind of like dawdled around downstairs. I knew it was coming. I knew I was going to have to do it. It was on my list of things to do. I've been really a little bit, I was antsy about it. And this is the third time I've shot it. And it's so funny because the first time I shot it was like, I was trying to do a recording and it sucked. I hated it. I got 5 minutes and I was like, this is not what I want to say. And then I got probably halfway through the last one and my computer short circuited. My energy must have been so afraid that it short circuited. And it was funny. And I just like rebooted everything. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to share. And that's going to be it. And now it just feels, this is the third time I'm talking about it. And it feels okay. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. It's confidence doesn't come by taking a pill or like someone holding your hand or whatever. Confidence comes by doing. So it's almost like you gotta just do the things and be okay with what happens, because I'm shooting this in February of 2024. So if you're watching this sometime in the future, that's just to give you some perspective about timing. The last lunar cycle we had was an interesting, it was we're at the very beginning of the age of Aquarius. And part of that is inviting all of us to utilize our gifts for the good of everyone, which includes you. Okay. And be clear. It includes you. It's not like you're being a servant to the collective. Okay. We're talking about how we're going to be of service, which is the choice to support yourself and others. That said, the last lunar cycle was a full moon in Leo, which when surrounded with all the other stuff going on, was basically like an opportunity for all of us to let go of what is in the way, all the fears, anger, jealousy, worries about good enoughness or whatnot, and what people would think, like getting all that crap cleared up around the gifts that we are supposed to be sharing out to make the world a better place. And that's why that last lunar cycle, up until recently, probably this past weekend, today being like the best day, and it's raining here. So I love that, because it means that it's clearing away the energy. But that energy is being cleared away because we just had a new moon on Friday, because the full moon was the Leo, which was all about you got to get your act together so that you can share your stuff. And then we had the new moon, which is in Aquarius, which was the invitation into this new age, the invitation of, okay, you cleaned up your act. Now it's time to take that show on the road and use your gifts for everybody else. So, and for you, I'm not saying, to just kind of do it at your own detriment. Do it in a way that feels good for you, and shares and contributes the higher vibrational energy to the collective. So that being said, that's why I'm doing this video, sharing about conscious channeling, because when we're high vibrational, we're pouring that higher vibration into the collective consciousness because you're a member of it. So that's kind of why. So as we move, deeper into this age of Aquarius, what's going to happen is you're going to feel more and more of a pull to do the things that are your gifts to do that might be a little scary, like right now. So, and I have my notes right here. So, that's kind of my thing. I've been doing spiritual work since I was born. It's a lineage thing. It's an ancestral thing. I have mediums and channels and medical intuitives and all that in my family. Literally just found out in the last week, no, 2 weeks ago, my grandpa, who was like somebody that you would never think was into astrology, never think that he would even be woo adjacent. Next thing you know, my dad's cleaning out some stuff. He finds a hand-drawn astrology chart with the calculations, but no calculator. Not like today where you just put the crap into a computer program and poof, you know all your stuff. This man, because he was so brilliant, he was a brilliant scientist anyway, very good mathematician, amazing. He was an engineer, he was an artist, which is hence why he could draw the things and do the calculations. I don't think I got those math genes. I really don't, because like it makes my brain hurt to think about a lot of mathing. But it was amazing because I thought that's his handwriting. I never thought that this person was into any of that. So having all that on the same side, like my grandmother, my aunt, all that, you know, the great aunts or the great aunts, I guess, that my grandma learned from because they were her aunts. So it might be like great aunts. I don't know. I'm not Henry Louis Gates, but he would know what kind of aunts they are. Anyway, so it goes way back for me. And I just find it so interesting that it's there in so many ways. And so that's another reason why I'm sharing this, because as not only am I wanting to share my gifts with you guys, with everybody, with the world, with the collective, because I think it'll be helpful, it'll bring some light. I'm encouraging you to do the same. And as you do this, you'll uncover other stuff about it that you'll find interesting. You'll probably help people in ways you don't even know. And so what is conscious channeling? Like, let's, you know, I could go on and on about sharing our light. I think that that's something I've been talking about for a while. So this video is about me and my conscious channeling journey. So that was kind of my journey. I finally got okay with it after this lunar cycle. I knew it was coming in like December. And I was like, crap, because that was not something I wanted to do. I thought it was friggin' weird. I didn't want to, you know, for somebody who talks to dead people on the regular, thinking something's weird, you're like, really? But it was really, I thought it was really weird, and I wasn't comfortable. And then about a year and a half ago, I found a woman named Georgia Jean. I was watching something on Gaia TV, and she was on there, and she was like me. She would do readings where it would be her, and there would just be this seamless transition, volley back and forth between her and the consciousness she channeled. And there wasn't any sort of like, let me go take a break and get my vibrate, you know, let somebody else take over, which I'm not. I want to be clear. That's a way, that's a methodology that works for people. It doesn't work for me. And I had never seen anybody that does like I do until I saw her, and she called it conscious channeling. And I was like, that's what I do, because that is what it feels like. It is this seamless cohabitation, peaceful cohabitation, when I'm allowing spirit to come in and share information, but I'm also tempering it with the human side, and so that there's like this really nice volley going on for the client or for whoever I am channeling, whether it's collective energy, it's source energy, it's for you as a group, it's for a private thing, it's for a group thing, whatever. Anyway, so it's just, you know, I finally was like, wow, that is something that's what I do. That's me. So I had something to say, I'm willing, you know, somebody else is doing this in this way. And it made me feel like it's okay. It's okay. And nobody was laughing at her or saying she wasn't good enough. And I was kind of like, okay, this is really kind of cool. So it took me, and then it took me like a year and a half to get okay with being okay with it. And that's kind of another reason I want to do the video. So if you're not okay with stuff right now, it's okay. You'll get there. It's an evolution. This whole thing is a journey. So don't worry about it. Just keep going. Whatever you're doing, just keep moving one foot in front of the other, and that's all that matters. But you'll be called more as we move ahead in time. But conscious channeling is basically just that. It is channeling source. And for me, I don't have like, you know, there's consciousness that have been in contact with me, yes, that have names. But when I'm doing the channeling, that channeled message is piped in through source energy. I have no other name for it other than source energy channeling. Because to me, we are all source energy. All the consciousness is source energy. All of the entities people channel it's all source energy, all of it. And so it's interesting that it comes in that's like, I kept asking, like, do y'all have a name like Abraham or Seth or something? And they're like, no, it's just source. That's it. So that's kind of it. And I'll do some stuff. I have questions already from people that I'm going to do videos on where you'll see what I'm talking about. And if you'd like to ask a question, I would love to receive it. I'm going to put a link in the description below that is a form that you can fill out so you can ask your question. And then I'll probably do a video. I'll pull some and do videos on them. But, I did want to reassure everyone I want to reassure myself that it's okay that I do this. So me embracing conscious channeling is it's a new thing for me, but I'm hoping it'll become old hat and it'll be fun. But basically it is me doing channeling, but in that I am conscious while I'm doing it. It's a different way of doing things. You might see me, one of the ways you'll know I'm channeling is like my gaze gets fuzzy. And my voice changes. It's not as like I am all the time. It's much more sedate. But that's really it. And then it comes back in and out. But that's really it. And so you'll see, if you pay attention, when it's me, when it's them, all that kind of stuff. But I don't do that like I'm going to take a minute and go get them kind of trance thing. But that's the conscious channeling is just basically you channeling messages while being conscious of it versus somebody like Abraham or Seth who allows the consciousness to take over and they just step aside. That's really it. And my journey of evolution, I think, is not unheard of. I think that a lot of us, especially in this industry, in spirituality and new age or metaphysical industries, where because it's such a personal journey, it's not just the work of the healer, the light worker, the energy psychology work of coaching or energy healing of the body and all of that kind of stuff that we do that we all know works. I mean, you wouldn't be watching this if you didn't think any of that worked. But we all are still regular people having human experience in the sense of, I need to navigate those worthiness issues too, or the enough issues, or, regardless of what I know to be confident because I've been doing it a long time. I know it'll show up when it shows up, but putting it out there is a whole other monkey. So, I want to do this so that if that's you, that you see somebody that's saying it's okay to be that way and it's okay to evolve and it's okay to do it at your pace. It's okay. It's totally okay. And if there's somebody else that channels like I do, to be the person that says, you know what, there's another way to channel than what you see over here. There's this. So I'll be doing a playlist of those videos too. So you can, subscribe and click the bell so you'll know when those come up. But, I invite you to join me on this journey. I think it's going to be really interesting and we can explore the depths of consciousness and conscious channeling together and shine your lights. And you can ask questions about that. And aligning your soul purpose so that we can move forward with that high vibrational energy feeding into the collective consciousness, into the Akashic records to create a better life for all of us. So, if you want to ask a question, you can click the link in the description and it'll take you to a little form for you to fill out. You have to fill the whole thing out. And I may not get to everyone's questions, but I'll try to get to as many as I can, that will speak to the most people. I'll let Source pick which ones they want to answer. There's that. But I also do this, I let Spirit guide me. And that's kind of why I want to help other people shine their light. And that's why I do the soul work, soul alignment coaching. I'll put a link to that. It's why I do readings to kind of give like private readings. So I'll put a link to that if you need that. The Celestial Soul Circle is like a recharge center. We do moon gatherings, and they basically are recharging all the light leaders, the light-hearted or light worker people, whether you run your own woo-preneur business or maybe you're like somebody that works in an office, but you are the person that brings the light. We all need a place to recharge, and that's what Celestial Soul Circle is. So, that's my driver. All of this is my driver to help people shine their light and to love themselves enough to know that they are needed, and they also deserve a recharge. So anyways, all those links will be in the description. I hope this was helpful. Maybe my journey sounds like your journey, and if it does, I'm glad, because that means you're not alone. And I look forward to sharing these conscious channeling adventures with you. So if you have questions about it in general, go ahead and ask me. I would love to know. If you do this too, let me know. But yeah, until next time, I guess I will see you in the vortex. And I love you so much. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to like and share this, because that means the algorithm will know that people will like this. And I guess I'll see you in the next video. So thank you. Until next time, I'll see you in the vortex. Bye.